day 1270. I've not been saying the days for ages, but I'm just moving the Xerion around, the exhaust back for it as well. Gonna move that Sumo that's been dropped off in front of the workshop out the way. Something's just gone through the chipper and done a load of shear bolts. They're gonna back it up to the big air gun. So I'll move this and get the Valtra, I think, on the Sumo. It's a dead goose, I think, that's hit the power lines. So I went round it yesterday with the Tedder, but I was gonna move it to the baler dump, pick it up. Ugh. Rob's backing up. Someone said, why did we get the drill from PV Dobson? They were basically the nearest horse dealer at the time we were buying this. We kind of bought it sort of through Horsch, but it had to be invoiced through a dealer. We were relatively new at the time, so Gareth from Horsch kind of like sorted all the spec and made sure we got the right machine. And then Dobson's obviously like PDI'd it and delivered it.
I've just messed up, don't film that.
Have you messed up? Rob's backed up, but he's got himself tangled up so he can't fit through that gap. That needs moving, really. Also needs doing up. If any colleges in the UK want to do that up, and I'll come and document it as a project, get in touch. Reezy, I think, might have been interested, but I've not heard from him since, and it's a new term now. Got a Massey 1200 as well. Yeah, it's going straight back. Yeah, the Massey, I'll show you that in a minute. I'll just guide Rob in the shed. Go on! Don't want anyone coming down the yard, it's just backing through. Go on! Think to me a little bit, can you see? We're going to try and be patient this year and get some stale seed beds on all the ground before we start drilling wheat. Normally we'd be flat out drilling wheat now, but we've had some dry weather. We've got some repair work to do where we've got compaction. So we're just sorting all that out first. Go on that, it's fine. Go on. Go on, go on, go on, go on. Go on, keep going. Keep going. Keep going. That'll do. But I'll go and show you this Massey 1200 as well. Anyone see that 1455 sold in that auction the other day for £43,000? Yesterday, so if anyone wants a 1455, I'd happily take 43,000 for my one. Maybe 42, you were the underbidder. Yeah, that needs refurbing. And then this would be a perfect project for a college because most of it is steel work. Like mechanically it runs, but it's just like welding and fabricating new panels and stuff, really. Or sourcing them from like Massey Dave and welding them in, but it's all flat plate. There's nothing technical about it. It's made in Manchester. Not that that means it's not technical, but back in the day that was just how things were engineered. Just there wasn't any sort of like massive presses or fiberglass panels and stuff. It runs though. These tractors are, I think, identical horsepowers. So that's Fence 240 horsepower and this is 235ish. Someone wants to have a closer look at it, so I'll have a closer look at it in a bit. Slightly longer wheelbase, I think. Same tyres. 660 R30. 606, yeah, same tyres. There's a bearing gone on the back disc, so we've unbolted it, took it off, and we're just going to try it now and just see what job it's making without it on. Whether we can get away with it. To do some work today with it. See here, it's perhaps not leveling as much as it should. I'm actually thinking it's not actually making that bad a job. So we'll take some of this compaction out. We put in with the combine when we combine the rake because it was quite damp. It's a good thing about hydraulic top link, you can just mess around with it until you get it doing a nice job, and then hopefully that depth will be right. If not, we'll change the depth of the rear packer. For some reason, them daylight running lights look a lot brighter in person than they do on the phone. Got a spade, I'm just digging some holes just to see how deep down the compaction is. It's quite a bit in the surface, and then where the combine's driven, that's quite tight as well. But the pottery there, that's from years ago when they used to spread what they call night soil out of Liverpool. So it'd be basically bed pans that broken. They spread the human waste, I suppose, on the field. So you get lots of this pottery in the fields around cities. This is where the combine was driving. You've got like a layer of compaction there and another layer here, and you've got some big beastie worms down there. But yeah, the top sort of 6 or 8 inch, it's pretty compacted. Just looking how far the roots have been going down to the rape as well. I've come to look at the maize. I didn't do a weed spray on it in the end, but cobs are growing now. They're not particularly big because it was sown so late, but like I say, it's just an experiment, see if the combine will cut it. So I'll crack one open and show you. There we go. Be a good while before they're ready to harvest. Each one of these tassels on the top goes right down to a kernel, and that's how it pollinates itself. The flowers on the top create pollen and they drop down and fall on there, or they blow off other ones. They have to be quite close to each other to grow really well, so that's why the ones that are a little bit sparse are nowhere near as good. But it's not a bad stand considering how late it was sown. This field here is going into barley, and it was quite bad for brome when it was in wheat, and you can't really control brome in barley. So we lightly dished it to try and get everything to germinate. And as you can see, we've got this kind of like green flush of brome now. You can tell it's brome because the leaves are fluffy. It's a bit hard to see on the camera, but yeah, that's all coming up. And hopefully any germinated wheat. Any wheat could have germinated as well, because we don't want wheat in the barley. So the question is now, do we spray it off and get another chit? Or if it being so dry, do a straw rake it and roll it again, because the straw rake will probably kill quite a bit of this, and then roll it and it'll encourage more to grow. But grass weeds like this are quite clever, so if that one's growing, it'll send a hormone out to the seeds next to it to say, I'm growing, you don't need to. So you have to kind of kill it to get them all to grow. So, but I think the straw rake, to be fair, because it's so shallow rooted, will probably kill most of it and get another flush perhaps, and we only have to give it 1 dose of glyphosate. I think I'll put the straw rake on and try it anyway while I'm waiting for it to dry enough to get baling the rest of the grass. Just been an elder Alec, put the chain back on his combine for the clean grain. It snapped, and did a bit of a lift with it, so stuck behind it now on his own drive. 5 mile an hour. I wonder how long that'll take John O'Groats to Land's End. I've had the tape measure on this rake and measured the track rods are identical. The problem is when you measure the inside of that rim to the inside of that rim at the back, and then at the front is an inch wider. So basically them wheels are towed out, both of them equally, an inch. So that's why it's obviously scrubbed the tyres off. So I'm going to have to crack that lock nut. Sorry, crack that ball joint, crack that, knock it out, turn it a couple of turns, put it back together, and do the same the other side. And hopefully then it'll stop it scrubbing the tyres off. Because it's phenomenal how much they've scrubbed in such a short time. Right, I've cracked the lock nut now, so I could spin that. I've undone that as far as I can, and I'm just going to knock the ball joint out, which is quite solid. Might need 2 hands. cracked it off now. Of course, I had to hit it quite hard. So now that is turning. So I'm gonna have to put an Allen key in the middle, undo the nut, drop it out, spin that, put it back in, tighten it back up again. Got it out. So now, hopefully, if I turn this, one turn might actually be enough, because that's made like a mil of difference, and there's quite a bit of leverage there. So that might move it just enough. Right, so it was towing out, so I've undone that, wound that in 3 turns. Done the same the other side. I'll just check it's right now, and then I'll put the lock nuts back on the track rods, and hopefully that should stop screwing its tyres off. Back on my favourite job. I didn't go straw raking Alec with his combine, and now I'm raking grass over. So the dew has been so heavy and the sun's only really just come out. It's really close and humid. The bottom of the row is still damp, the top's dry. We could wait maybe 4 or 5 o'clock and it might all bail, but we want to get going, so I'm just going to flick it over now for the time it'll take, and then we can get bailing a couple of hours sooner at least. I've just rolled that row this way a little bit, and then now it means I can roll that row and this row together, make one big row, so it'll make it quicker for the baler. God, not focusing, is it? It'll mean that it probably doesn't get quite as much sun and wind because there's 2 rows together, but it is only a thin crop, so hopefully it'll still dry quicker than not being disturbed, and the baler can go twice as fast now. Well, the baler's got only half the number of rows to go up and down. It's just been tending behind that hedge, and I never got out with the straw rake, but I'm just going to see what this is doing to the ground, see whether it was the straw rake will do a good job or not. Yeah, it didn't really do anything. The tines don't go low enough. I could adjust them, but I'm not going to. I'll get this hay sorted and then maybe straw rake it tomorrow and roll it. That's the field Andrew's sumoing. All the seagulls there stealing the worms. In fact, there he is now. Just on the headlands. I'm at Brookhouse now doing my new favourite job, which is rowing grass up. And the red arrows are due to fly over in about half an hour, so hopefully I'm going to get a good picture of them flying over the top, but we'll see. It might be like a mile away, I don't know. We'll keep my eyes peeled. I've just finished this field. Don't know what I did there. Oh, I know what I did. I missed a bit and I went around the loop. The red arrows are supposed to be coming over in a minute, so I'm going to see if I can get a picture of them, or at least a video of them going over. Who are these dubious characters? You'll meet them in a minute. I'm just waiting for the red arrows. Still 12 minutes late. Must be on my network rail. You see him? There we go. Look who's here. The girls on tour. The Great Eccleston Show team. Where have you been today?
Just on a bit of a road trip.
Just here to watch the red arrows.
Absolutely.
Here we go. The last few bales of hay we baled last night weren't quite as dry as it could be. So, this drying floor's empty. I'm just going to screw the last few beans off it. And then we'll load it into here just to sweat out a bit. Give it a bit of heat if we need to, or even just some airflow. Terrible beans though, we stick in the floor. Rob's put the exhaust back on the Xerion now, so it's going to be a bit quieter. Won't be able to scare as many pigeons though. I think you lot should do the birthday bumper actually while you're here.
Yeah. Bring it on. Yeah.
Right, are you ready?
Yeah.
Doing the birthdays.
Right. Birthdays. I'll read the top 3. You read those 2. I'll read those. Okay? Right. Are we ready to go? Let's go.
You've just been filming for like the last 13 seconds.
No, we'll just carry on then. Right, we're doing the birthday bumper. We're ready to go. Happy birthday to Jamie Gervin, who's 30. Tim Pepper, who's 50. Lauren Holmes, who's 8 today.
Leo Mayon, who's 11. Daniel Besant, who's 43.
Jacob Cocksharp, that's 8. Hayley Littler, who's 29. Michelle McMillan, and Billy Jones, who's 1 week old.
And so far we raised.
45, 592.
There we go. Happy birthday everyone on there and anyone else whose birthday it is today. We had the weight block on that this morning, but Andrew's been multitasking. He's put the front flail on it so that if he gets to any fields that we've not done around the edges yet, he can do. So that there's a weight block, or if anything looks like it's going to block, he can. He's done quite a bit today, and the old Terminator feet holding up pretty well. See a bit of wear on them, but at least the main body's not worn at all. At least they brought biscuits. You're going to get a dusty bum. Andrew's just moving out for diesel, but we've got why are you hiding over there? Who's taking the picture? Because I'm filming. As you can see, but everyone in the northwest got this Sahara dust on the on the car yesterday. Who else had it? Was it countrywide or was it just the northwest? Let me know in the comments. That's today's quiz question. The quiz question from the day before that was the piece of metal that snapped off the bale spike. So loads of people got it right. Some people didn't. Some people thought it was a spring. Anyway, thanks for watching today. Hope you've enjoyed it. If you made it this far, click like, and I'll see you all tomorrow. And I've just fell over that.